Hey everyone, in today's video I just wanted to show off my Balisong collection as of the start of 2023. So I'll just get right into it. First we're going to start off with some of the more unusual things in my collection, which is going to be my two Lego Balisongs that I have. So obviously I made these myself, and I made these in an attempt to create the very best Lego Balisong that could be made. And I have to say, I think I did a really good job. The two that I have slightly different construction and a different pivot system. Personally, this one, to me, this is the first one of the two that I had built. And it works well, and it looks better, but it does not flip as well as the other one. And I will explain why. The big issue with this one is that when it's together, all of this is at the same height, so when you try to grab it to do a rollover, you have to make sure that you only pinch this very thin handle. Otherwise, you'll end up grabbing the blade, and it won't work. But other than that, it really does flip quite well. Rollovers come very easily. Things like chaplains are very easy. So, we'll get to the next one. So this one came afterwards, and I made a few improvements. The gap between the handles is a little bit better when they're apart like this. I also fixed the issue the other one had, so that now the blade is smaller than the handles, so you can easily just grab it and throw. I added this weight at the end to help it with momentum. And I ultimately think that this one is the better flipper. In terms of weight, they're pretty similar. You can see I just tried an aerial there. They're not really great for aerials, but they get the job done. They're made of Lego. These were just fun projects that I did just for something to do mostly. And overall I'm quite happy with how they turned out. I would like to at some point refurbish this. They have nicer colors, but it's not necessary. The next strange thing I have is this. This is my Balio. It's a Balisong, but also a pen. I think this one, it's a strange one. I bought it thinking I would have something nice. I could just have this everywhere, even if Balisongs aren't allowed. But honestly, I don't pick it up much, because for me, I've had the screws fall out several times, even with Loctite. Tolerances are obviously not very good because it's plastic. And these weights at the end, to me, they just make it feel awkward to flip. And it's so small that it's hard to do any real tricks on it. So I tend not to pick it up that much. But nonetheless, I still think it's a pretty cool trinket kind of thing to have in my collection. Next, we're going to be going with the one that was the very first knife in my collection. That's this one. Originally it had some scales here, but I took those off to make it flip better. It also had a latch originally, but it flips better without it. This is the knife that I learned almost everything I know on. It's your standard cheap Amazon trainer. Weighs like 5 ounces. It's ridiculously heavy, ridiculously handle biased. Very bad flipper, and I still love it. So, you know, it doesn't really matter what knife you use, because you can learn just about anything on any knife, even a really bad knife like this one. I don't really have a ton more to say on this. I would definitely recommend, if you're looking to get into Balisongs, to not get a cheap Amazon trainer like this. Just save up, get something good, get something that'll last you. But this is what I started with. It worked, it got the job done. And also, if you buy one, get one with screws, don't get one with pins. You're not able to tighten it unless you hit the pins back together with a hammer, and so as a result, tolerances are pretty bad. Plays bad. Occasionally I will fix it, you know, I'll go in with a hammer and tighten it, but since I don't really flip it much anymore, it's just not worth it. I mostly just keep it, you know, for history's sake. Besides, I wouldn't get much if I tried to sell it anyway, so might as well keep it. The next one that I got is this right here. This is the Squiddy C by Squid Industries Co. This one you can see featured a lot on my other channel, Balisong Shorts. Almost exclusively, actually. I love this one. It's a nice trainer, made of plastic, so you can take it anywhere. It's also clear, so it's not threatening. Doesn't look like any form of weapon. The weight is not too bad. It's plastic, so it's quite light. It's around 2.5 ounces, I believe. But it does a good job. You can do basically any trick you can think of on these. It might not necessarily be the easiest as on some metal trainers, but anything can be done on them. The blade doesn't have a clear bite side, so that could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. I've seen some people put tape on one side so that they can get a sense of where the bite side is, but that's a matter of personal preference. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about this one. Recently, with some of the other knives I've gotten, I've started to like this one less and choose to flip it less often. Simply because of the weight that they put on the end of the blade. This weight acts as a stopper when the knife is closed, and it also helps to bring the balance to a more neutral feeling compared to the original Squiddy, which doesn't have that weight. But for me, I find that this weight really throws off the momentum of the knife, and it just, I can't get a good flow going with this knife. That's really it. It's not bad. I know it's not bad. I can still do tricks on it. They just feel awkward, and I have to be constantly thinking about the momentum of the knife and how I'm going to maneuver it in my fingers instead of just flipping. Which is why I'm not a big fan of that. Someday I might get an original Squiddy just to see if I like it more. But for now, I am happy with this. It'll definitely be staying in my collection as, like I said, it's the only good flipper I have that I can bring just about anywhere. You can even bring plastic balisongs through airport security, onto planes, things like that. I've also seen some cool mods people have done by attaching LEDs to these, and that just looks super fun and cool, so I'll keep this in my collection for sure. Just, you know, one day might mod it. We'll see. Next up, we have the Glider Bermuda. Yes, I know, I have a very small collection, and then I happen to have a pretty, I want to say pretty rare knife. I don't know how many people got this. I know obviously a lot of people did, but you can't get it anymore, so I'm gonna say it's rare, even if it's not really. I don't know the exact number that were made. But here's a Glider Bermuda in red colors. You could have got it in red, white, or this like grayish color. Overall, I'm quite happy with this purchase. It's a pretty good flipper. This for a while was my favorite trainer. Was my best metal one for a while. And it's got pretty good balance, pretty handle bias, due to it having such a short blade. But it flips very well, and I mean, it has insane tolerances. I mean, there's literally no tap, and there's also no play on mine. Like, the handles don't move. I know they're not perfectly lined up, but they don't move. And there's no Loctite in this either. It just holds those tolerances. It's actually kind of crazy. Of course, the Glider Bermuda is on bearings. I didn't mention the other two that I had, the Metal Trainer and the Squid Industries Squiddy C. They're both on not bearings, washers. But the Glider Bermuda is on bearings, and I think they give it a pretty unique feel. It does a great job of carrying momentum and carrying swing. Let me get away from this mulch, just in case I drop them. That way I can drop them in mud, not mulch. Wow, it's not really better, but it's whatever. Yeah, the bearings, they give it a very unique feel. You want to make sure, generally, try to get a specific lubes that are for bearings on them. But it flips quite well. Balance is pretty nice. I'm used to heavy handle bias knives, so I'm a fan of it. It's a little bit heavy. I think it's closer to 5 ounces than it is to 4. So for me, it's a bit heavy compared to what my preferences are currently, but it doesn't really stop me from flipping it. However, I don't know if it'll be a mainstay in my collection. I'm gonna have to wait and see, because I have some other knives that I'll show you that I just like more than this. I don't tend to pick this up that often because it's just not as good as some of the other things I have, and I don't find myself looking for this experience that often. Not that it's a bad experience, it's just not one that I often find myself wanting. But I will say overall, I think it's a pretty solid knife. Definitely worth the money. I don't regret purchasing it at all, but definitely we'll see if it stays in my collection. Now, the next knife I got is my Squid Industries Nautilus. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Well, for one, this was my grail knife for a long time until I got it, and it is amazing. It's definitely by far my favorite trainer I have. The G10 adds great grip. I know I'm probably going to drop it a lot because it's cold out and my hands are dry, but it has really wonderful grip. Balance is great. The flow is great. It's pretty light for being a metal Balisong. It's like 3.5 ounces. But honestly, I love that weight. I just like lighter knives. I don't like really big, beefy knives. And this is perfect. It's light. It's got thin handles. Has one of the best bite indicators I've ever seen. Like, you will feel that. Usually, I've found bite indicators only really work if you try to do a chaplain on them. But on this one, it just works. Even if you mess up a rollover and you don't do a wrist pass right, you'll feel that on your hand. So it's a great training tool. I genuinely just feel like I flip better when I'm using my Nautilus. And that's why it's my favorite trainer. And rightfully so, because it's the most expensive trainer I have. But it runs on bushings. It was the first bushing knife I got. Has G10 scales, aluminum channel handles. And yeah, I really love this thing. Definitely my favorite trainer. And this one will definitely be staying in my collection for really as long as I'm flipping. I don't see myself getting rid of this ever. It's just that good of an experience, and I just love it too much. Learned quite a few tricks on this. Been trying to learn some more advanced tricks on it, like the scissor. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the Nautilus. I don't want to be out here too long because it's getting cold and my flipping's getting worse. But the newest one to my collection is the Nabalis Vulp, designed by Will Hirsch from the Will Hirsch YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm pretty glad I picked this up. As you can see, I've got a pretty special one with a pink bite handle and a teal safe handle. I like to call it my cotton candy Vulp. And it is a very good flipper. I'm very impressed. The price that this is at, being $65 for what you're getting, is incredible. You get full extra hardware, including extra bushings for it, so you can learn to tune bushings if you want. But the knife itself is just designed so well. You have this bottle opener, which acts as your bite handle, and it's also a very good indicator. It has some incredible jimping. There's a car over there. Sorry if you guys heard that. It does rollover tricks very well. And it's also the first fully aluminum trainer I got, but I gotta say, quite a fan. Yeah, these cutouts here on the handles provide really great grip. The balance of it, it's very nice. It's fairly neutral. Slight handle bias. Makes rollover tricks a little better though, so that's always good. The only problem I have with this, and this is also, it's a feature of the knife in a way, but I personally don't like it. When Will Hirsch designed this knife, he wanted it so that when you chaplain, they have to be very big circles, because that's how you learn to chaplain, and that's really what this knife is for, is beginners, people learning. But for me personally, I don't like having to do really big circles on my chaplains. I just find that it's a lot of work to just keep a chaplain going on this knife. But other than that, I really don't have any downsides on it. It came with no tap, very little play, and you're able to tune the bushings if you want to make it even better. The box also comes with a torque spit that you can use on it, comes with some Loctite, and it comes with super lube. So you've got some lube for your knife. It's really just a great deal. Will Hirsch is a great guy. It's a great thing for the community. That's pretty much all I got to say about this knife. I think it's very good. Definitely going to be staying in my collection. And yeah, as of right now, 2023 February, this is my full Balisong collection. I can't wait to see what happens in the future with it. If it grows, maybe some things will change. But yeah, so let's see. Obviously I don't have any live blades, so I can't do a best trainer versus best live blade, but I'm gonna pick my favorite knife out of all of these. And I know it's not very suspenseful, but yeah, my favorite's definitely got to be my Squid Industries Nautilus. It's just a great flipper all around, and I mean, it's worth every penny in my opinion. Amazing tolerances, no tap, no play. It's wonderful. Squid does a great job. All their products are great, at least the ones I've tried, which in all fairness is not a lot, but they're great. One day I plan on getting a cracker rack in, so I can get, you know, because everyone says that's like the knife. But yeah, for now, in my current collection, Nautilus, definitely my favorite. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Hope you all had a great day. And of course, as always, I hope you all keep flipping.